Hey y'all, and welcome to the Southland Piper. I'm your host Tim. Hope you're doing well today. I've been collecting Weber the Scoop pipes for a little while now, and I've got a new one to me, and so it needs a little work. Let's turn around to the workbench and get started. Well, let's take a look at the pipe. Overall, it's in pretty nice condition. This is the ram's horn design. Not really seeing any problems as far as burnout or anything like that on the outside of the pipe. The stem fits well. Do have a few little tooth marks, so we'll have to work on those. Now, down inside the bowl, well, the rim's got a little dirt around it, not that big a deal. I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but the bottom is flat and well below the draft hole. And I did a little measuring, and this bottom is very thin, less than 5 millimeters, and it should be closer to 10. Um, so I looked closer, and I just don't know that y'all are going to be able to tell. I went ahead and did some reaming, but you see that little shiny spot, little dark shiny spot down the bottom? Well, not it's up the sidewall, not down the bottom. That little dark spot. That is, probably some JB Weld, some kind of repair type of putty or something. I suspect JB Weld. Um, I'm not extremely big on having JB Weld inside pipes. I know some people are totally fine with it. However, since the bowl is so thin on the bottom, I'll be able to cover all of that JB Weld or whatever it is with some pipe mortar, and it should come out just fine. And then I can raise the bottom up and get it in correct position relative to the draft hole. So that's what we got going on. Um, the stem really doesn't have any oxidation on it, so I don't think I'm gonna drop it. It's got just a hair. Oops, sorry, you're still zoomed in way, aren't you? It's got just a hair when I put a flashlight on it, but I think all that will buff out. So I'm gonna do a little cleaning on it. Get the stem. Oh, and this stem is over 11 millimeters. So I like to have at least 10 to do a 9 millimeter conversion. So I'll be able to convert this one. The draft hole looks like it's slightly off, a little thinner on this side right here, just slightly off center. Shouldn't be anything to have to worry about. So I'll get to cleaning this, reaming it. Um, yeah, I wasn't going to do a video on this one until I found the JB Weld or equivalent. So I started reaming on it, and that's when I hit that little shiny spot of filler of whatever type it is. So we'll clean it first, get it good and clean, and then we'll deal with the bottom of the bowl. I don't show this much anymore, but when it comes to cleaning the airway, I'll take a bristled pipe cleaner and I'll dip both ends, and I'll insert the small end right there at the tenon, and that's really coming back really nice and clean. Well, clean is a relative term. I could do a retort on it, and it definitely would release more in it. So let's see what the shank has in it. I always like to put the pipe cleaner to where I just barely see it, and then put my fingers right there at the end. And that way I'm not digging into the floor or the far side of the bowl. Just something I like to do to keep things nice and neat. Yeah, I got a little bit there. And heck, it'll probably still clean. So I'm going to clip that off and redip that and hit it again. Like everything else, even pipe cleaners have gone up in price the last couple of years. So I'll do that, and I'll finish cleaning this up, and we'll get back to it. Now this is what I used, the before and after Briar cleaner, and you can see the website right there, lbepen.com. It's great stuff. Great stuff. Well, I've treated the stubble twice with the briar cleaner, and just have a little bit of scorching up here that I may get one of my drills and a couple of pockets of dirt, a little grunge and such. But I may get my manicurist drill and rework a little bit of this in the dark areas, the scorched areas. It's not bad. Certainly it's acceptable at this point, but I'd like to go ahead and get a little cleaner. All right, got this little point on there, a little bit. And I'm just looking to clean up this rustication, these areas where it's a little scorched. Just lighten it up a little bit. Just kind of dance around the rustication is pretty fine. I think that'll do. I'd really like to go to a lighter tan, but I've got a lot of areas that are pretty dark down that rustication. And I'm afraid that it'll just look a little odd. So I'll either use regular tan or light brown. Let me decide. Okay, I'm gonna go with light brown. I'd like to go lighter, but I just don't think it would look too well. I'm gonna rub this one down pretty good with a paper towel with some alcohol. Well, let's see if we can have some success with the stem. I'm gonna try to lift that tooth mark, and there's a couple back here. See if I can lift those out with a little heat. Well, I brought them up a little bit. So we'll see about filing and sanding those down. It looks like I've got plenty of stem material. All right, I'll sand that and then put it on the buffer. Well, I tell you, the Stummel has some restoration balm on it. I started to put it on the top rim and then realized I hadn't done anything about the inside of the bowl. So I'm gonna let this sit its time, 15 or 20 minutes is supposed to sit. And I'll go ahead and hand buff that as far as that goes, and then we'll repair the inside of the bowl and do the stem conversion. Getting forgetful. Okay, I've got my drill bit down there at the bottom coming through with the draft. And let's mix up, here's my pipe mud. Cane Rod Piper has a really good recipe in one of his videos if anybody's wondering about pipe mud. It's going to take a fair amount. All right, let's see what we can do here. I'll do like I always do, add too much water. Well, maybe not this time. And once I apply this, I'll let it sit for an hour, hour and a half or so and firm up, and then I'll take a reamer and shape it a little bit. Kind of like that consistency. Let's see. All right, got a blob down in there. Add a little water here. That way I can take my finger and just wet it and shape things a little bit. The bowl above the epoxy or JB Weld, whatever they used, actually looks good. Let's see where I am in relation to that drill bit. Let me get it to poke through. I would say I need to come up just a little bit more. Might have been too much, but we'll find out, won't we? Feel that drill bit. I can always go back and add more. Let's see where we're at. This drill bit's pretty tight fit. I'm gonna stop right there. That's what we look like. You really can't see it, the drill bit, but it's sitting in the very bottom. I always like to be a little bit taller, a little thicker than I need, and then I will, shave things down. But it's pretty close. Well, right there, let me see. I don't know if there's enough light. You can see it turning at the very bottom. Let me get my flashlight, and I won't be able to talk. It's in my mouth. Maybe y'all saw it turning. Anyway, I'm going to give it an hour or so and we'll come back. Let's take a look and see what we've got. That little lump down in there is the drill bit. So let me back it out. It's a little tight. Okay. Let me see if I can do a little shaping here. Just not putting much pressure on anything. Paper towel. Looking good so far. Let me take that on the rest of the way out. I think it might be just a tad high. And not really. Just kind of cleaning things up a little bit. Actually, it could be a little higher. Let's see here. But I think it'll be just fine the way it is. And when I say a tad higher, I'm talking about making the figure 8. See how that feels. Yep. Sorry, I'm taking a close-up look. Actually, I said it wrong a while ago. It should be a tad lower than what it is. May have to go to a smaller reamer. Check that. Yeah. Make sure we're good and clear. I think that's going to look good. I think it's going to work fine. Probably gained a good 3 millimeters, if not a little more, in thickness on the bowl. I can measure it later after it's dried, but I'm happy with what we've got. Well, here's the finished pipe. Everything turned out really well. The bottom of the bowl is looking good. It's continuing to dry, but it looks good. The conversion went well. No problems there. I think it's turned out really well. I didn't, which I'd lightly sanded under here. I do have a couple of nicks that I probably should have gotten out, but didn't, but they won't really hurt anything. Character is all that is. But it cleaned up really nice. I'm happy with it. Add another one to the collection. Thank you for joining me today and sharing your time with me. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye.